Hello, good afternoon, dzień dobry, good morning, good evening. This is Małgorzata Gryz, representing the Strong Women in IT, with our seminar or webinar on the mentorship for growth. I am so honored and really privileged to welcome today with me three amazing, powerful, impactful leaders. One coming from the US, the other two coming from Warsaw, whom I will introduce in a second. As you know, each of our webinars is really to give you an opportunity to connect, to learn, and hopefully to get inspired. All of the stories of three of our panelists today are really giving me, and I hope also many of you, as our community of strong women in IT, a reason to believe, and also bringing you a couple of tips on how to become a great mentor, how to appreciate our journey as the mentee, and what really was the key outcome of the mentorship programs they received, but also what they are giving to the world in their belief that mentorship is making a difference for your journey, for your passions, giving you a reason to believe, and also helping you to overcome the obstacles on your way. I cannot be happier than having more than 100 people with us today, representing different parts of the globe. And with no further ado, I'm welcoming our three amazing women and leaders, mentors. Michelle Tower, the Data and Analytics Senior Director, Procter & Gamble. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome on board. Poland welcomes Ohio. Today, Michelle giving her speech, being with us from their Mason office. Michelle has always been the advocate for diversity, inclusion, and a very strong voice of data, of women in the data, and equality in the business. Hello,
Thank
Michelle.
You. Thank
Good
you.
morning to you.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ela Bonda, our next panelist, an amazing leader, rewarded and recognized in Poland and beyond. The head of productivity, in NatWest in Poland, the country board member, the leader of diversity and inclusion. I'm sure you know Ella, especially the Polish and the UK participants know her talents very well. She's been a proof point that equality might be given in many angles. Her story is truly inspiring, and she's connecting the worlds of finance and banking with technology, being one of the ambassadors of the Technology Hub. Welcome, Elu. Hello, dzień dobry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Małgosiu. Thank you.
And last but not the least, Małgosia Sztejter, or for the ones who love our Polish long names, Małgorzata Sztejter. Małgosia is one of the most powerful certified coaches and professional mentors. The accredited mentor who's been working with teams, with leaders, and with individuals in terms of their business and personal development. She's been mentoring many of women and men on boards to help them to become better mentors, leaders, and teammates for their teams. I have to state also that Małgosia has been very active professionally in the consulting business for many years, especially with the legal part of the profession. While for the last 5 years, she's been developing the mentorship practice for the business.
Exactly.
Hello, dzień dobry,
for having me. Thank you. Hi.
Ladies, each of you has been serving as the role model mentor for many years. I've known your stories from many people. I was looking at you in your practices. I know many of your mentees, both women and men. And I really wish to know, what is it in the mentoring space that you love so much? Please look back into your early career stage. When you started your professional journey, what made you believe in mentorship, that you expanded today across the globe as the mentor towards the other people? What was in it for you that you decided to roll it forward when now each of you is a respected business leader? Michelle, how was it?
For me, it was excellent. I think some of my very early mentoring engagements where I was the mentee, it was like getting blinders taken off. I was seeing breadth and depth that I didn't know was there. It was eye-opening for me. It opened many doors through network connections, as well as promotion, of course, career advancement, opportunities that I didn't expect, international assignments. So these were fabulous. And so as I reflected on that, and the energy comes from learning and growing, how to give that back and how to grow the future leaders as well, both in my company and externally. So, and just seeing that there's a systemic opportunity, and we needed to reach deep down into the Girl Scout ages before girls are even considering STEM fields in their studies, how to get them excited and connected into growing their own career. So I expanded, I established programs in my company and outside. It just, the list goes on and on of how it affects you.
Thank you. So there are a few words which I really like to stress after what you shared. The brief, opening the door, opening my eyes, giving me just sharing with me the opportunities which I would never consider. I think it's so powerful, Michelle. Elu, how was it in your case when you started and go back to your early career days?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I will start differently. So what was unpleasant in my first mentoring experience? It was both unpleasant and unexpected because I was thinking that there will be someone in the shape of my mentor who would rather yes me in my opinions and thoughts and my doing. So I was absolutely looking for comfort and not prepared for a different approach. So it learned me hard way that it wasn't this person and it wasn't this role. Absolutely. So it's not a mentor who does it. So it was quite surprising, but all in all, I was absolutely grateful at the end of the process because just poking my comfort zone at that time kind of let me flourish really, and I was kind of guided in a very smart way that I didn't even feel that I was guided by someone to the door that I opened myself, and I was very happy about that. So it was absolutely stunning experience, and I knew that something like mentoring is very rewarding for mentee, and I was hearing that it's also very rewarding for a mentor, and it is. So with mixed beginning, it turned something that I'm very passionate about.
I think it's such an important reflection. You say this was taking me out of my comfort zone. I expected in my first thought, I expected my mentor would be pleasing me, giving me a great environment, and I was completely taken off from my comfort zone. I think it so well also corresponds with what Michelle stated, opening the door, the unknown, right? So ladies, each of you is bringing the reflection, which I think each and every of us should keep in mind and heart when we start this mentorship journey, as it's a hard work. Goshu, our professional mentor, accredited mentor, how was it in your case when you started?
I think at the early stage, I was lucky enough to meet many people and many women. I know that there is this famous saying by Madeleine Albright that there is this special place in hell for women who do not support women. But I was, maybe I was just lucky, but there was plenty of women who were helping me to recognize and name and really claim my strengths. So really make me believe that they exist. They are there. They are making me unique. This was not in a formal mentor roles, but it was a mentoring style of cooperation, which was really what I'm really a big advocate of. So this kind of management of people. And if I made something, add something about the later stage, and my later stage in career, when I was in the management team in law firm, I was working with a coach, and inevitably we were talking about the business issues, but sometimes also about the private issues. And he could hear about my difficulties in communication with my, at that time, teenage son. And he told me once, Gosia, why don't you go and train yourself in some basic coaching skills so you will stop telling people what to do? And it was very mentoring, because it was on one hand reflecting what he knew about my quite directive management style, and also a very strong advice from somebody who knew that this type of training can really change your mindset. And it really finally, after years, changed my career path. So it works.
Thank you, Małgosiu. Gosia says, and let's remember, all of us have got the mentorship journey as the mentee and the mentor, right? All of us are in the shoes helping the others, and as Ela mentioned, also taking so much from this mentorship today. While Gosia, as Małgosia, is the professional mentor, really with the accreditation, she says there is a difference between telling and engaging, right? Instead of telling people what to do and how to do, guide them. And I think it so well corresponds with what Ela stated before. So ladies, you build on each other so well, which I love, being a host of this conversation, that this is about the guidance. This is about waking up, right? This is about also taking you out of the comfort zone and telling you not the things which you sometimes would not like to listen to. So now, as we have already Małgosia's statements, from your professional perspective, Małgosiu, what really is mentoring about? How would you define mentorship? What's behind this magic word?
I would say that this is a unique way of developing people, because it's tailored to the individual that we are supporting, like no other form of training or education can be. So it's really working, following the needs of the mentee. And that's quite special. It's absolutely shortening the learning curve for people. You can say it in a humorous way, saying that mentor has made the mistakes. Why don't you have to repeat them? Well, just learn about them and try to avoid them yourself. This is, of course, making the thing simplistic. But it's really the funny thing I'd say about mentoring is absolutely not intuitional for people who are managers for a very long time. Because when you think about the role of manager, it's really about taking responsibility for things. It's making people accountable for things, right? It's also making decisions, telling what to do. And we are very well trained in it as managers and leaders. We paid for it for years. And then we go into the role of mentor, and it's pretty much useless. And the stretch which we experience as going into this new role, it's really fantastic. So answering to your question, Małgosia, there's no magic, but it's really about liking people. It's about liking to share knowledge. And it's about dedicating time and kind of slowing down to invite people to reflection.
That's wonderful. You say it's about really having quality time and this genuine act to share, right? Michelle, anything here from your side to add or to reflect, bearing in mind what Gosia just stated, and the same from Ela's perspective? Anything which stays on your mind additionally to this part?
I think the custom part of it is a key piece, is you're really getting to know the person as an individual, both in their career and also their life. And how does that come together to build a plan? And some things that are so simple as defining goals and having a career plan is not often thought about that young in the journey of your career, or that you even would have such something so concrete. And the reality is that can change. And so being connected with your mentor to know where you are on your journey and what are those parameters that are hard points and things that are soft points, things that, we can adjust and we can change, but there's going to be hard points if you're, in a particular place where you don't want to leave, or whatever they are, right? You want to define what those are and set those boundaries, because that helps then your mentor to customize, as Małgosia said.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you also built on Małgosia's earlier statement that these two worlds of the personal journey and the business journey are so much working together, right? There is not such a clear division between me as the professional and me as the human being. Elu, anything on your side additionally to
I think,
corresponding with what was stated?
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's maybe bite the don'ts bit for the mentoring as far as my experience goes. I think mentor is not about giving exact advices and, solutionizing for the mentee. It's rather, asking questions and stimulating their inner resources, and because usually the talent is up there, is somewhere hidden, so it's just about trying to unleash this talent. And also I think it's not worth to shield the mentee a lot. It's rather to be there with the hand extended when they are nearly falling, that the mistakes that they are happening and they need to try. But still they need to know that you are there for them. As a mentee, I think don't choose a mentor who is your copy, just more senior. Seek for diversity of thoughts, of all the traits, because that's really nurturing. And I think it's really important, what was mentioned already, that manager, mentor, coach, therapist, and sponsor, these are different people. It's not all in one.
Yeah.
And they're complementing each other if you need, obviously, but it's really understand. It's like Małgosia was saying earlier, it's not intuitional, you need to learn it, and it comes with a great responsibility, but also it has the boundaries.
Thank you so much. And again, you say not all in one. Probably it might be all in one, right? But don't put in front of you the goals to be the top mentor, top manager, top coach, and you state, and top therapist even. Oh God, I would never advise anyone who doesn't have the credits to become the therapist. But I think it's super good that Ella mentioned this context, because I'm sure all of us going through really the mentorship experience, we see sometimes that the mentorship starts going into the direction of the therapy. And we have to be super careful if not being prepared and having the credit, professional one, right? The accreditation, the preparation to start the therapy, because it might really work against everyone. So thank you, Elu, for bringing this context.
It's a good point. I think it's worth noting too, as a mentee, right?
Yes.
You don't need just one mentor.
Yes.
You need a network of people that you see. What are the skills, or what are the things that you admire in them, and how do you build that network? Because what serves you today may not serve you in the future, and people are going to evolve in their life. So how do you get a holistic set of mentors and advisors and people that can help you see around corners and anticipate what could be coming next, or help you define what could come next? So there's so many roles we could play. But I think it's a good point not to get into uncharted territory as a mentor.
I told you I'm now talking to our audiences because at the end we exist here for you, right? For all these 100 people who are with us through different channels. If there are comments, if you have questions, our amazing production manager and our program manager Justyna Burkhardt is there for you. Here there might be some questions, so don't be shy. Get the questions, comment, be with us, and stay alive, because staying alive is important to become a great mentor, as to be a great mentee. Now, going back to Ella already touched a bit the context of the don'ts, and I think it was so well positioned in the context before. Michelle, I would go to you and ask you a question. So what are the do's of the top mentor that you are practicing and that you show to your mentees?
Right. I try to bring in first, of course, getting to know them, understanding their goals, and all the things we talked previously. But I think giving them frameworks and tools that they can use, stretching their thinking beyond what they currently know, and understanding and sharing different case studies or examples, either from my personal experiences or others where people are trying to achieve different strategies. I like to stretch their thinking, right? I like to make them think about what if, what's possible, and making sure they're not in an imposter syndrome mode where they don't see themselves in that future, like starting to paint that vision and give them those tools to see themselves growing beyond where they currently set the target, right? So, and what are the things that need to be true to do that? Stretching them beyond their comfort zone, but also perspectives and other network connections, like starting to introduce them to a network of different voices and different points of view that they hadn't considered. I think if you don't leave a mentoring session either feeling like you need to go further, think and discern what you just talked about, and it's comfortable, then you really didn't leverage that mentoring engagement well. So do come in with an agenda, right? From a mentee standpoint, do come with challenges or issues that you need worked on, but don't be surprised if you walk away with something you didn't expect from that discussion.
I love what you stated, go beyond even what you set up initially, right? You never know what's behind the corner. Get ready for taking, and this is, I think, the third or fourth time during our discussion over the past 25 minutes where you are talking as the mentor about get ready for going out of your comfort zone, right? Go beyond, get ready, inspirational. I think it's so important. Taking off the regular shoes and being ready for the bigger journey. Małgosiu, from your side, you work with different organizations, different leaders, the she and he leaders, right? So how is it really? What are the do's from your experience?
I'd say that one of the do's for people who are trained as managers when they go into mentor's role is to be less judgmental. And really, rather than I already know, you start speaking to me, dear mentee, and I already want to finish a sentence for you because I know what you need. I know the solution. So really, the ability to change this judgment into curiosity. And the more we think we absolutely know who we're dealing with and who they are and what they need, etc., not to lose the curiosity, to really ask questions. Especially Ella said, don't look for a mentor who is like your copy but older. Absolutely. And it's also risky for the mentor if they have a mentee who's like copy of me but younger, because we lose curiosity, because we tend to think we are so similar. So I know who I'm dealing with. Well, it's not true. I just know some points. So really thinking about with an open head and really with curiosity to ask questions from many different perspectives, and really being not assuming what are the possibilities, what are the limits of our mentee, because we don't know. And as Michelle is saying, just going beyond means that if people come sometimes with very brave fantasies, that's great. Just ask them how they want to get there, rather than judge whether it's possible or not. Yeah. So really being open, because our imagination may be limiting us.
That's amazing what you stated, Małgosiu, and I think it's super touchy when you say this. This really gives me such as this is like a sounding board for me when you say, "Don't be judgmental, don't give them immediate solution. Let them breathe and find their way." Right. I think this is such a powerful thing, especially if we think about a manager as the mentor, right? That what just I think all of our audiences know that before going to you, we have some conversations, we get prepared, we exchange the thoughts, right? Like four of us, or even with a broader team. And there was also the topic of, is manager necessary a mentor? Right? How does it really work? What if, as Michelle mentioned before, how does it really work? And we could probably talk more and more about this. But let's think about this context of going beyond, staying aspirational, but as Gosia mentioned also a minute ago, having the plan how to get there. And then I think we do a great job as the mentor and as the mentee. I think it needs to also be said, following Michelle's statement, that the mentee has to know why she or he is joining the program. I'm sure many of us here and outside of our four had a situation where the mentee came to the session or to the program, not even knowing what she or he wants to achieve. So the homework stays in the hands of the mentee prior to starting the whole occasion. And now a topic which I know for many people is not so easy. For me, it's really important, and I see people talking about them. Also, many of my colleagues in the business, the career sponsorship. There is a statement which we know, career sponsorship, right? Michelle was already also mentioning this a bit before, and I wish to hear the voice of two business leaders, Michelle Power and Ella Bonda, on it. How does it sound, career sponsorship? Do we need it? If so, why do we need it? Do we need a career sponsor? What's the role of the person? How to turn the name, which sometimes is landing in a negative context on people's minds and hearts, into a positive context? Elu, how does it sound?
Yeah, I think the word. I think we need to kind of change the perception of the word, and let's perhaps try to think, about the one's development and the need of all of those figures at some point of time of the career. So why I think mentoring process is leading someone to the door, and then they are already ready for the career progression if they want, and then comes sponsorship, and sponsor opens the door. They kind of invite the talent to the boardroom, let's say, to the room of people who are kind of influencing, or they can make the decision of one's progression. I think the sponsor uses their influences for one's career, for the progression, being the advocate of the talent, also lending credibility to that person. So it's for someone who already knows what they want to do, and that comes the sponsor who is helping specifically in that. There are two studies that I just want to briefly mention for that. One is from Harvard Business Review that says that along the woman aspiring leaders from minority backgrounds are over-mentored and under-sponsored. So they are being kept in the space of mentoring on and on and on, while there is still a missing element of a person who will guide them, who will lead them, maybe encourage them more. So sponsorship is focused on advancement, predicated on power. And then there is the Deloitte report, who says that individuals who have the active support of sponsors within the organization, they are more likely to advance in their careers, but I think it's very obvious. Moreover, sponsorship can improve the chances of more stretch assignments because a lot of people will see your talents. That's as simple as that. More promotion and pay rises by up to 30%. So, that's convincing to me. And, I'm throwing away the stigma of the sponsor element to the word. It's just, another person who can help you in your career in a very open way. It's nothing bad about being sponsored. And within NatWest, we do have a program of sponsorship, and it's a part of normal daily talent management, and it works.
Thank you so much. And I think it's such an important thing to, I think there is a statement in English, Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, it's demystification of the word, right? So let's make it right. Let's put it on the right place. Let's not really, during the discussions, which I sometimes was going through, luckily now it's getting better and better. But I was going through some discussions with a number of people, both women and men, when they heard the words, okay, so who is your career sponsor, or the question, they've been shocked. The connotation was so wrong, while Ella is bringing also the powerful context of the data, which all of us love, showing that women from the certain group of minorities are over-mentored and no career sponsor, which means that they got qualified, they've got the full talent developed, and they have no clue what to do with this because the door is closed, or at least you don't consider yourself where to go further. Because you never thought about the career sponsor or someone who might really trust and believe in your talents and help you expand and utilize them. Thank you, Ella. This is, I think, a super powerful message. I think to all of us and the leaders who tend to listen to us, and when we produce the podcast afterwards, I think it's so much important to look at it and see how could we help the others as the career sponsors, or recall back our early times when we started. Michelle,
Yes.
what's on your minds in this context? You've been a career sponsor for many people, and by the way, Ella as well. And I know your mentees are the ones whom you gave the helpful hand.
Yeah, I think early on in my career, and I know you asked, do you need one or not? Like early on in my career, I was very focused on delivering performance, delivering impact and results, right? And building skills. So I was kind of gathering some things for myself, figuring out who I wanted to be. And you can get enriched through mentorship. It really wasn't until I started looking at that mid-career point and into executive leadership that I said, oh man, I need help. And in a lot of cases, what I didn't realize is, at least I'll say within my ecosystem, the sponsor picked me. I didn't go picking them, but I will challenge to say, like, if you don't get picked early on, go ask. It never hurts to ask and to look for that lead advocate. Don't even think of it as sponsorship. I mean, a sponsor is an advocate. They're a navigator for your career. They're an initiator of building your credibility with a broader audience within their network. There's so much more than, under this umbrella of sponsor that can get this connotation. They can lead you. They can help you to say no in a collaborative way to things that maybe aren't in line with your goals, and help your calendar be more congruent with those goals. So you don't get busy. You don't get distracted by many things that are shiny objects or cool things to do, but they're not really driving you to that outcome. And it's a very different experience. And particularly not just getting into an executive rank, which is a whole new ecosystem, but even outside in boards, that is a completely different scenario. And the boards are hungry for women to be on their boards. But even so, doing it in an effective way. You don't want to just jump in and learn. You want to have some advice in that particular environment that coaches you early, but opens those doors. I find career advocacy at an executive level a must-have.
That's
I may
that's
add,
such a-
why do we think this is kind of absurd that we have this connotation for
yeah.
sponsorship in business? We even have two models in mentoring. One is succession mentoring, one
Yeah.
is onboarding mentoring, which is really about helping the successor, potential successor, build the gravitas in the organization, build the brand in the organization, open the door, fasten building the network, right? Things like that. Onboarding, which is really about understanding what the new role is all about and how to really avoid mistakes that might happen on the way and which are not necessary. So it's like it's nothing new. It exists. Somehow we got this bad association. Absolutely.
Why I brought this topic, because going through the mentorship experience for many years, I really see this question coming again and again. And I said, is this about the name? Is this about the thing that people don't really understand what's behind? And I think going back to what Michelle stated, there were some so powerful statements. And I really hope that each of us, even present here, will keep it for a long time in mind. Michelle stated career sponsorship is a must. But maybe, Michelle, you invented a better name for this one. You stated career advocacy, right? So let's agree. Let's have a deal with our audiences. And guys, I really hope you are with us. You are, I don't see the questions, but I really hope that this is because you are so interested in the conversations, in our panelists' stories. I think let's have a deal. If someone doesn't like the name career sponsorship, let's name it career advocacy, right? Michelle mentioned this is so important for my building or supporting my credibility. For opening the door which was closed before for me, that Ella mentioned before, I would never even consider, and today it's possible. And Małgosia brings the two contexts, the very practical ones, right? The board's membership, and the second, which one was it exactly?
Session and onboarding.
And exactly. So you see, these are practical, so many practical aspects behind the scenes. So let's not be afraid of having a career sponsor. If we don't like the name, let's call it or name it in our minds the career advocate, the one who will have a trust in our skills, who will help us to bring and build our credibility, and who will show or influence our talent in a more broad context to the world.
A thing to think about with this career sponsor advocate is they're often invited into discussions, meetings, audiences where you're not there, and they can be your voice and again continue to build your credibility and your equity in those audiences before you're even there, and before you even know that it's a destination for yourself to be there. Even to the point of even squalling old tapes. If you had a blunder early in your career, this can be something that overcomes those narratives. So many benefits that if they're truly advocating for you to advance, and this is a key, they will provide that underlying, they'll lean in with their own equity, their own credibility for you. And it's hugely different than a mentor.
Yeah, these are the ones, this is so important. These are the people who will talk about you, show your talents when you are not there, right? To list your strengths, to show you as the talent to the others who might never met you in their career. I think it's such an important thing for all of us to consider, to have our plan ready. And I think also that it's so important to start building relations with the people whom we one day might want to ask for becoming our career sponsor or career advocate. Michelle stated at the beginning of her statement or story on this, in this context, she said, don't be shy to invite the people to become your career sponsor. It might take a moment to influence someone to help you, right? This is, I think, of a critical importance. Now, moving forward, we still have 15 minutes to go before we close. Let me ask you a question. Going through your journey as the mentor over the past many years, we are still young girls, but with a lot of experience. I keep repeating this, and I'm so happy with the statement. Still, we saw many things on our journey. We went through the ups and downs. I know that mentorship helped so much to each four of us over the years as the mentor and as the mentee. What was the biggest lesson learned for each of you thanks to the mentoring? It doesn't matter whether you talk from the perspective of the mentee or you talk from the perspective of the mentor. And I would start with Ella this time.
Thank you for the question. So I think I shared both of the views, but from the mentoring, being a mentor perspective, it's quite easy to kind of condense the answer because it's very, very, very rewarding experience every time. So I'm hoping that my mentees are getting something out of the relationship that we have. But for me, it's always like nurturing experience, and I learn a lot from them. But then being mentee, I think from my first experience that, didn't met my expectation at the beginning, but then it met big time. I think after the first experience, I knew that I need to plan my career, and this is my right to do so, and there's nothing bad in it. And also I need to kind of throw away the imposter syndrome that is, it's still out there somewhere, but probably under the rug right now. And it's not showing quite often, but like, I don't know, 15 years ago, let's say, it was still there. It was sitting by my desk as well. And even though I was going through a lot of training, etc., it was showing away from time to time. So I think from all of my mentors, I am deeply grateful to them, because it was always something that they let me see in myself, that I'm worthy of the next step, that I can go there, that it's absolutely fine. Or sometimes not, because I need to learn, so I needed to be a bit more humble than I was. But at that moment, I knew that, that I'm on the right way. So I think, I always have a mentor. It's very rarely that I don't. They are from absolutely different kind of backgrounds. Right now, I don't need obviously a mentor when I was 15 years ago. So it's a different story. And my most rewarding experience from being a mentee recently is the reverse mentoring program with people from underrepresented groups. And it was absolutely fantastic. And I think it was also growing of them, because they've been very hesitant at the very beginning to share the story. But then I see them flourishing as well. And for me, it was absolutely outstanding learning and seeing world from a different perspective. So I highly recommend it as well. So it's not when you are a senior leader, a C-suite position, etc., executive, that you are already set and you don't need someone who will guide you in a way. Absolutely not. I think you can have a mentor always, like at every time in your career.
Hello, that's really an impactful message. From what you say, it's really clear for me and hopefully all of us here and outside, that you need the mentor at every moment. The formula might be different, right? But it's important to have someone to talk to get challenged by. You also say, which is now so strongly in my head and in my heart, you say that it gave you the reason to believe that you are worth a next step. Yeah, I think that's so powerful, that you deserve a next step, even if you were not sure yourself. I think it so well corresponds with what Michelle stated before. Go beyond, right? Go beyond your own thoughts from the beginning, your own goals. That's such a powerful thing. Michelle, how was it and is it in your case? What's the most powerful experience from the mentorship journey?
I think there's two things for me. One is around how do I deal with failure and leaving a legacy. So I'll start with failure because we're all going to fail at some point and often, okay? And failure is not an ending to that journey, and it shouldn't be the crescendo. It's how do you really turn that into learning and insights that then you can leverage to propel your career to what's next and take the next challenge and articulate it in a way that shows that you have a growth mindset, that you're really willing to embrace and understand that failure happens and that we're able to learn from it. And just dealing with that and coming from my background, it was something I really had to grapple with. And I'm sure I still do at times. I mean, who doesn't want to win? But how do you fill with grace and grow from it is a big learning that I value so many of my mentors through my career for. And then leaving a legacy. Legacy sounds like something your grandparents leave for you as an inheritance or something behind, or something that's a lifelong journey. And it is in many ways, but that you're on that journey, just knowing that you're on that journey today, yesterday, and what are you doing to build that legacy? What do you want that to be? And thinking about that as you go and renewing that annually to say, what is it that I'm going to contribute towards my legacy now as a leave behind it, whether that's to the women's community, to your career, to the company that you're working for, to your family, what have you. Thinking about that legacy as you go just puts it into a different perspective, that you're leaving behind something greater that can carry on once you're gone, whether you finish a career or you end a particular contribution. It's fascinating to think about things that way.
So touchy message. I think on both contexts. The failure, which I'm sure each of us was and is from time to time confronted with, is not the end of my being, right? Of my reason to believe. Everyone, or most of the people I know would like, as you stated, to be successful. Or even sometimes there are moments in life when you think you did something amazing, you delivered to the world, to the people, to your customers. And over the years, it might be that there is a person, a moment, where you are confronted with a life situation. You think it was a legacy, right? It was something amazing. And the other person says, no, it was not a legacy. That was nothing special. And I think going to having the mentor to talk to bring you back to your belief stage, right? Giving you the wings to fly and to want again. I think it's such a powerful thing, Michelle. Really, thank you. I'm touched with this. Really, I remember and will never forget. One of my most powerful mentors, one of the professors in Poland, Piotr Płoszański. I'm sure Małgosia and Ella know him. During the talent program, he had his inspirational speech a couple of years ago in the company that I was leading. And he stated, there is a moment that each of us in a certain moment has to play the music on our own. I will never forget this moment. It was the moment when I thought I have a legacy somewhere for years. It was such a touchy moment for me. This man shared one sentence. And I really tell you, I will keep this in mind forever, because it was a moment for me, this personal moment for me, when I was making a huge life and business decision to play the music on my own. So the mentor is helping you to think about your legacy, but the mentor is also helping you to go beyond, pack the past, take for the future, and also think about your failures as the lesson learned for the future, right? Such a powerful statement. Thank you, Michelle. Gosiu, your turn now. What was it?
Listening to what Michelle and Ella were saying, I just thought that when I'm training mentors, I quite often hear this motivation. Want to become a mentor because somebody has supported me in my way some time in the past, and I want to pay back. And the funny element is when the same mentors at the end of the program say, Gosia, I'm not sure if I haven't taken more than the mentee, but hush, okay? Because it's such a rich experience, because you're working with the mentee and you observe the person, you listen, you ask questions, you look for solutions, for suggestions for the person you can make. But at the same time, you have it's like a dual track. You have the same time stream of self-observing. Yeah, what's happening with you, what's triggering you, or how judgmental you may be, how impatient you may be when working with another person. So it's really, if people say, I'm here as a mentor just to give something to others, forget it, guys. It's inevitable. You will take as well. This no way you will.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Yeah, that's such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So you get, Gosiu, your rewards quite often, right? Working with different people and groups. And I think it also so well corresponded with Ella's previous statement about the reverse mentoring, what she gains from these people, right? As the mentor. And she says it was such a powerful thing for me. On one side, I am a mentor. On the other side, they give me so much in this journey. I get richer and richer after this thing. Ladies, now the final, super final points after our discussion on mentorship for growth as a person, human being, and as the professional. Please list 1 or 2 words that you'd love to leave our audience with before we close. On the mentorship journey, the wish which you'd like to give to them, something which you'd like them to stay with and reflect on after we close. Michelle.
I think the thing I want you to think about is cast your net wide when you're thinking about your mentors, mentees, both, because they both contribute to you, as Małgosia said, and don't be afraid to ask.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Elu.
I would encourage everyone to try even if they are afraid, because what's the word can happen.
And Gosia?
I would stick to curiosity and generosity in our relations with people.
And I would add, always go out of your comfort zone. It will give you the wings to fly and will help you to build relations with the amazing people like Michelle Tower, Ella Bonda, Małgosia Steiter, for life, for business, and for inspiration. Ladies, I am so grateful to you. We will capture all of your statements, your energy, your thoughts, and being with us. Thanks to the talents of our team, but I will mention at least one, Justyna Burkhardt, we will produce the podcast, which will be given to the world. And I really hope that all of the people gathered with us from wherever they are, they enjoyed, they will take something for their journey, and they will stay with us to build a better and more inclusive world. Thank you so much. You made my day, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
are inspiration, so don't ever forget that.
Thank
That's
you,
my
girl.
heart, however it might look.
Yes, there's many versions.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Wonderful to meet all of you.
Thank you.